meeting for Tuesday, August 25th, 2015. We'd like to welcome all of our citizens to the morning proceedings. The Reverend Asa Greer, the Executive Director of the St. Johns River Baptist Association, is here and prepared to lead us in prayer. And Commissioner Harris, District 1, will lead us in our Pledge of Allegiance. Let's all stand together.
Heavenly Father, we come to you in the precious and powerful and wonderful name of Jesus, name that's above every name. We thank you, Father, that you've promised us in your word that you have put men in places of leadership, Lord, and we know, God, that you would lead them, Lord, and we pray today that in every decision that's made, it would be to your glory and your honor and for the benefit of your citizens, Lord, in this great county. Father, thank you for these men and ladies and all that they do in leading this county. And God, I pray you'd give them extraordinary wisdom, Lord, that they may be all that you want them to be. We praise your name for who you are and the power that you have over all of us. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Please be seated. Commissioners each should have received and reviewed the minutes of the August 11, 2015 regular meeting proceedings. What is your pleasure?
Move approval, Mr. Chairman.
Second.
Proper motion and second for the approval of minutes. Further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Like sign. Hearing none, motion carries. Again, we thank our citizens and constituents for being here this morning and sharing with us in our proceedings. I do want to announce that those who do have an active interest in the noise ordinance, there is that has been pulled from the agenda, will not be officially discussed today, as our department is planning to bring to us the draft in its form for discussion at a subsequent meeting, and it will be very well advertised and promoted. This time we will recess the Board of County Commissioners meeting and call to order the Solid Waste Collection and Disposal District. Do we have other district members here? Item A, Solid Waste Collection and Disposal District, approval of minutes from the previous meeting of July 28, 2015.
Mr.
Move
Chairman.
approval.
We have
Second.
a proper motion and a second. Further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item B, review and certify special assessment roll for preparation for conformity with 2015 solid waste rate resolution.
Second.
By county ordinance, the board is required to establish by resolution the solid waste special assessment and tipping fees prior to the beginning of each fiscal year. This was accomplished during the July 28, 2015 board meeting. For the fiscal year 2015-2016, the special assessment for county residential units, with an exception of Palatka and Crescent City, is set at $334 per household. The special assessment for Palatka and Crescent City is $222 per household. The tipping fee for commercial refuse are up to $44 per ton and $125 per ton for waste tires. The next requirement is for us to accept and approve this special assessment roll from the property appraiser so that the rate resolution can be implemented on October the 1st, 2015. It's a pleasure of the
Mr.
board.
Chairman, I make a motion to accept and approve the special assessment roll for implementation of the fiscal year 2015-16 solid waste rate resolution.
Second.
I have a proper motion and a second that the special assessment roll for implementation 2015-16 is approved. Further discussion on the resolution. Do roll call on this particular resolution. District 1?
Yes.
District 2?
Yes.
District 4?
Yes.
District 5?
Yes.
District 3? Yes. Unanimous. Thank you very kindly. At this time, we will adjourn the Solid Waste Collection and Disposal District and reconvene the Board of County Commissioners. Item 4 on the agenda, resolution supporting increased resources targeting economic development in Florida, requested by the North Florida Economic Development Partnership. And Commissioner Lible, if you will present the resolution and then give us some discussion, please.
Okay, thank you, Chairman. I'll read the resolution first. Whereas the Putnam County Board of Commissioners is concerned about the economic health and well-being of residents in Florida's rural counties and desires to create employment opportunities benefiting our citizens while still supporting the quality of life in our rural communities. And whereas Florida's rural counties offer unique and diverse economic development opportunities in the areas of manufacturing, logistics, warehousing, distribution, and agriculturally based jobs and industries. And whereas current state economic development resources and investment targeting the needs of rural counties and communities are woefully insufficient. And whereas our strongest desire is to promote economic growth and prosperity in order that our county will experience economic growth substantial enough that our county will no longer need to be designated as a rural area of opportunity. We left out economic there, by the state of Florida. And whereas Florida's rural counties are ripe for state investment and financial support necessary to improve the economic health of Florida's rural regions. And whereas the state of Florida lacks significant economic development incentives and financial aid targeted to Florida's rural counties. And whereas Florida's legislature has the ability to enhance access to increased levels of funds for rural economic development opportunities and provide increased and targeted financial resources earmarked specifically for rural counties and communities. And whereas improved economic conditions in rural Florida are beneficial to all Florida. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Putnam County Board of Commissioners hereby supports efforts to implement rural legislation designed to increase the ability of rural Florida to compete at all levels of Florida's economy, and calls upon the legislature to require the Florida Department of Economic Opportunity and all other applicable state agencies to process grant applications and requests for reimbursement within a defined time frame, and supports efforts to increase incentives, resources, and technical assistance available to existing and prospective Florida rural businesses for retention, expansion, and attraction. Done, ordered, and adopted this 25th day of August, 2015. And I offer this resolution in the form of a motion, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, District 2. We have a proper
Second.
motion and a second supporting resolution number 2015-65. Further discussion.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, ma'am.
this is one of the most important things that we do. If we're going to find a way out and climb up, it is through jobs and doing this, and I wholeheartedly support this. There was a big article in the paper on Friday about the lack of funding. The governor was explaining that from the legislature. So if this helps get the message out and support it, we need to do it. So.
And I can say, Mr. Chairman, at the North Florida Economic Development Partnership, which I'm a member for this board, that we appeal to the Department, DEO for short, Department of Economic Opportunity, all the time to increase rural county funding in this area. We've hosted quite a few big events where we have what's called site locators, and we've hosted them in North Florida locations in both Madison and Steinhatchee. We flew them in and went out and did kind of a road tour of the 16 rural counties in North Florida. And it's really been helpful. Suwannee County has realized a big industry to put, I think, 400 jobs together. Don't quote me on that, but I'm close. In the wood industry, anything that involves our natural resources, we kind of center around and we show that the economic dividends that you can experience by hiring rural county folks. You know, you get tax breaks and incentives from the state level, and we work that all the time. We have an executive through the Putnam County Chamber of Commerce that is actively involved in this situation. Alex McCoy, that was a big loss when he left, but we have an interim that's quite capable right now. He put our Walmart deal together and is working very hard on that and some other things until we get another person. But
We started yesterday.
is that right? We got the new guy then. But this is a front that we can never quit being a part of. It's ongoing all the time, and it's mysterious to the public because it's so quiet. And the reason being that all these companies on a national and a world stage, you can't go out and discuss what business they want to bring here. And in fact, we never know, the commissioners. I mean, people ask us all the time, what's going on? And I have to say, well, I can't tell you because I don't know. But that's the nature of the business, but it is going on all the time. We also belong and pay dues to a company that we're part of a thing called Zoom Prospector. And a potential company or employer of any size, one person or 1,000 people, can zone in on Zoom Prospector and look at all our natural resources, our square footage as far as warehousing goes, the education of our workforce, the ability to educate that workforce through tech school or our college out here. It's a wonderful tool to showcase the assets that we do have. And it's worth belonging to, and that's part of your tax dollars working to bring them here too.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Any other discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a comment. You know, economic development, I agree with Commissioner Lible and Commissioner Harris, all of us, it's all of our jobs, including the public, to bring people in. And last week I was fortunate to sit down with our administrator and talk about a potential prospect coming to the county. But Commissioner Lible is correct. They want to keep this thing quiet. They don't want it to be known, and you have to respect their wishes when they come. I can tell you that Putnam County is ripe. We're really right on the crisp of getting more businesses here. The recession seems to be over in some of the areas, and they're looking at us now. And that's a good thing that they're looking at us. But economic development is all of our jobs. And I would encourage you to promote Putnam County as much as possible when you can possibly do so. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you very kindly. Certainly, our economic health is top on my list as it relates to how we can be better, the demand on the services and the needs of our citizens, which all of us are. Sometimes people fail to understand that we suffer with the entire citizenry. But at the end of the day, we are pressing forward so that our community can be sustainable and that we can do the things that we need to do, maintain the rural flavor, but we still must make progress, and it starts with the economic infrastructure.
That's right.
Okay, we have proper motion and second, and we've had discussion. Ready to vote? Those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you very kindly. We will now move to public comment, the portion of the agenda that's been designed to give our citizens the opportunity to bring matters to our attention. The board will not engage in debate or deliberation about matters that are not received ahead of this agenda. If there is an emergency, we will discuss that and deem it an emergency. We ask that you limit your comments to 3 minutes, please, and practice the civility. And we know that there's reciprocity in that practice, that we likewise must be disciplined in our response rather than a reaction to some of the things that do shock us that's being brought to our attention. So first speaker is Ms. Wanda Ruckowitz. If you will please come forward. 106 Taylor Street, Interlaken. Following her will be Ms. Faye Sparkman, 103 Flamingo Boulevard, Interlaken, and then W.T. Buddy Antone, 151 Faye Street. Please come forward.
Good morning. I just want to say thank you to everybody that was trying to find a piano for the QI Roberts Band. We've located one, but I want to thank you for all your help in trying to find one, but we're very happy we got it. And I'd also like to say happy birthday to Mr. Tim Smith.
Miss Wanda, I had to do a U-turn on Highway 20 the other day because I saw a piano on the side of the road. It turned out to be an organ, not a piano, but I was willing to confiscate it as quick as possible if we had to. So.
Appreciate it. And if I knew it was his birthday today, I would have had some of the children come in and play happy birthday. We're wanting a very good year. We're hoping for high standards this year with our kids.
We anticipate that.
Director, he's got wonderful ideas.
Super. Thank you so much. Okay, thank you.
Good morning. This morning I asked Mr. Leibel where he got his coat from, so I asked Mr. Pellissier, and he said Chip's in apprentice school learning what color to wear. But anyway, happy birthday, Mr. Smith. Today I come before you because on the back of your thing, state statute 125.271 is emergency services. If you pass the fire assessment fee, some of us won't have that, and you're supposed to do that. The second one is 125.275, countywide air protection. Mr. Leibel was on the thing when he helped us get Flamingo and Twin Lakes passed because of my husband's breathing. Something has now happened because this county is not mowing, not cleaning the ditches, and not trimming the trees. So now they had to give my husband another pill. So when the oxygen man came to the house, did you know just in Interlochen alone we have 32 veterans alone just on oxygen? So there's something wrong why this county can't be cleaned up. Make them mow, clean the ditches out. The trees and the grass are what's causing these allergies and the breathing. Make your man in charge do something. Then the last one I have today is 125.5801. You guys, I gave you, turned some paperwork into Miss Tony 2 weeks ago. You need to do some background checks on your people in charge of your departments. Because if we can find it, I'm quite sure you all can. And the last thing I have to say on this is I went to Mr. Van Zant's town hall meeting. The people there were very angry with the city's fire assessment fee. So he told them it was a way around to get more taxes out of them. So they asked what to do, and he did tell them for all the churches to get together and sue. So then I asked him why our county can't get jobs. Do you want to hear what he said? He had a big airplane company ready to come here, and he was turned down. So that company now is in Georgia building airplanes. Did you all know about that?
Ms. Sparkman, that's not exactly true. I can't sit here and listen to that.
Well, that's what he
The
said.
company was here, and Georgia took the company through incentives. So that's how the story really went.
Well, that's what we were told at the meeting.
And the airport is also municipally owned.
But I didn't see any of you there. Maybe you should have came, because then maybe you could have corrected him if that wasn't true. I don't know.
It's not.
But we do need jobs here, and I know that every one of us are trying. I've tried with Firehouse Sub Krispy Kreme. I run into a door every time. But I need you, each one, to study these things, because this is strictly Putnam County's, for the county commissioners, things to do. But I can't stand for my husband to go in any more oxygen or any more breathers. 3 a day now is enough. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sparkman. Mr. Antone? Mr. Buddy Antone? Antone? A-N-T-O-N-E?
He'll clear it up for you in just a minute.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Your name,
like to-
what's the correct pronunciation of your name?
Beg your pardon?
Please repeat your name for us.
My name Buddy Antone.
Okay.
I live about as far west as you can, about 150 feet from
Alachua
Alachua
County
County.
line. Okay.
I'm an elderly citizen. I'll be 85 right the day before Thanksgiving, and I have a problem that I'm single. I live alone, and I want to address the garbage collection. Is what it is. Like, I only have a couple of bags of garbage, and I just wanted to suggest that I'm paying a lot, pretty good on my tax bill, and I have to pay by installment. So I hope you understand why I'm here. I have a couple of suggestions, I guess you would call them. One is to utilize the community college out here some way to maybe observe the garbage collection and how it is. I think it's unfair that, like, I have maybe 2 little bags of garbage to pick up one, and the neighbor across the street has 3 big garbage cans. There's something there that's not right to me that it seems like it should be, a more of a fair advantage. And another way that could be utilized is to have the garbage collector, the man on the garbage truck, either driving or picking up the garbage or whatever, in some way, at some time, maybe not every garbage collector, but to determine how they could be fair, picking up one can from one person and 3 or 4 cans from somebody else, how that it would be fair to distribute the tax. And I think that's about all the information I have, unless you have some questions.
We have your contact information here, and we'll do a follow-up with you on what the concerns that you raised in our meeting. Thank you so much. Yes, sir. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Tim Hoteling, 105 Riverside Way, San Mateo.
Tim Hoteling, San Mateo. I was just curious, when the resolution that Chip just put in, was there something about in having Tallahassee cause the organization to make decisions in a timely manner? Is that what I heard?
I'm not sure what you're
It was-
referencing.
It was
You read
reimbursement.
it,
and
huh?
I think it was reimbursement in a timely manner.
Oh,
That's what,
That was what it was.
reimbursement, not,
Yes.
okay.
Yes, sir.
Old ears,
Call upon the
sorry.
legislature to require the Florida Department of Economic Opportunity and all other applicable state agencies to process grant applications and requests for reimbursement within a defined time frame.
Right.
There's been a problem in the past with particularly the North Florida Economic Partnership and smaller counties being reimbursed, I can tell you. Sometimes up to 2 years.
Ah, okay, that's,
I think.
I
it's-
did hear that.
Yeah,
Okay.
and that's where the
was-
wording's resonating from.
Yeah, I was just
Executive
curious the
Director.
backstory.
It's been a pet peeve of his for quite some time now, but he has gotten it straightened out. It's kind of old news, and it's doing well now.
Good. And my main question, because you're flying everybody in to do all these great things, which is really good. What about that industrial park out on St. John's?
It's been shown many times, and we have a couple of prospects on it right now, in fact.
Right.
Again, can't discuss it at large.
I'm
Well, it's actually about,
digesting it.
well, it's really about having infrastructure and the investment that the county and even with interlocal agreements, so that you have proper utilities and things of that nature. It's very important that the stuff you don't see, that's under the ground, is in place. And so we stand on ready, and it's really about the season. I mean, it's about, seeking out the right partner, and it's not just happening many times. We think that it's just the goodwill ambassadors that we call county commissioners. We think that it's just a chamber over on the corner of 11th and Reed Street, but when it's all said and done.
I was just curious about its marketability, and if you say there's infrastructure challenges, I was just curious what those challenges are that you'll need to wipe away, like Veritas Steel, when you're putting in that extra water line or sewer line was
Chairman, if I could.
was critical to them, and I was
Correct.
just
Tim, let me stop you there. It's not an industrial park, it's a business park.
okay.
And that's real important to know.
Well, it was just a
There's
big
a
building,
big
so I don't
difference,
know.
yeah, there's a big difference.
Right. But infrastructure is what we have to do to meet our end.
Because
And
those
then,
gas pipes that come out, where they make the connections, they're all appear to be in a bad state of need of maintenance because they're all rusted and stuff that I never see anywhere else. So I was just curious if it was still a viable site for development.
it's definitely viable.
But I got somebody to check. Thank you.
Okay. Any other public comments?
Good morning.
Good morning.
John Spells, 106 Citrus Lane. I have a problem because I asked a question a while back and I still hadn't got an answer. I asked the commissioners a while back, how many engineers do the county have, and I yet to have found out how many engineers they actually have. But to go on further with my statement, I look at a lot of the work that's actually being done throughout the county is shabby and it's sloppy. I rode down Turner Road this morning and looked at where they did some work on a culvert down there. I went and looked at it. They really didn't put enough dirt to keep the water from eroding over into the ditch, not done washed all the concrete from around the minor end of the pipe. I left for the last meeting I was here. The county was right across the road from my driveway, putting fill in a pothole right across from my driveway, and they left and didn't never put none in my driveway, in which it don't really matter because I'd rather put milling than to put that muddy crap in it anyhow. And I came to the commissioners a while back about the drainage along the railroad bed, and I yet have had anybody to put any effort into trying to do anything to keep some of that water off of me. Now we're coming into hurricane season. I rode up there by Ryan's Manufacturing yesterday, and I noticed the county got a big excavator sitting right along a ditch that's actually is the same ditch that actually drains the water from my area. But 3 months ago they had inmates with weed eaters cleaning the ditch. But I can't understand, why would you cut the bushes out of the ditch? Now you got that big machine there to dig the ditch, in which the same water going right in the Orange Mill to the same ditch Mr. K. Moore has been trying to get cleaned out. But it seemed like certain people only getting certain treatment, and I don't understand it.
I can't really address the fact that some may feel that they're getting special treatment. The thing that we have asked is give us the addresses there. If you have not given that information to Public Works.
The address to where the machine is at?
Well, where each of those locations that you raised an issue so that it can be properly vetted, and then the response, we will get the response as well. Once Public Works handle the assignment, they will tell us the disposition of what happened, why it's happening, and why it's not happening. And that's basically the role that we would play in the entire operation, is to know what the follow-up was. Because when you bring valid concerns to us, like you have over time, the question is, these concerns that you're bringing today, have they already been called in to Public Works, or are you sharing that information with us for today?
Well, I've been trying to get that ditch cleaned out along that railroad bed to keep the water off of me, but less than a half a mile away, they got the machine down there in Orange Mill, in which I don't even see why would they carry a machine that large to clean a ditch when you can look straight down the ditch. If anything, they can mow it, but they had inmates with weed eaters cutting the weeds out. Now they got that big machine down there to clean that, but had no one been down on that trail to kind of clean that out, to kind of get some of the water off of me. Okay, I just don't understand who's actually pulling strings to do what, when I've been coming to the meeting all this time about the same toothache, but then everybody else getting medicine on their cavity.
Okay, so are you speaking the ditch that's on Citrus Lane, that's running along Citrus Lane this time?
I'm speaking about the railroad, the nature trail.
Okay.
Okay, but the same ditch for where that water used to flow before they put all that dirt on the railroad bed, and it blocked the natural flow of it. Down the road right by Ryan's Manufacturing, there's a ditch comes in through there, and it goes all the way into Orange Mill, goes under Jim Bryant, goes right into the same ditch that Mr. Camo been complaining about, but they're just digging in the middle of nowhere, in which they hadn't solved the problems anywhere.
Okay. Well, again, I'm not privy to all of the details as far as where the ditch originates and all of those things, but there are notes being taken as you speak there, and so I will follow up with you on that specific issue. Mr. Bosco says he'll connect with you in just a few moments, just to make doubly sure that everybody understands, because again, the water system and the way the water is running, to a layperson, it doesn't make sense. Now, with your area of expertise and the ins and outs, and you knowing the area that you're speaking about, there may be some things that you can shed some additional light on. So Mr. Bosco has just indicated to me that he'll connect with you in a few moments.
All right.
All right, so thank you so much. I'd like for Ms. Susan Davis, if you don't mind, right after Reverend K-Moore comes, I'd like to introduce you to our community, and maybe you'll have some comments to share with us. Okay, thank you so much.
Leroy K-Moore.
Yes, sir.
117 Gladys Avenue, East Palatka, Florida. What I want to speak about this morning is out Yeverton Road, where you go out Yeverton Road.
Yes, sir.
Where the Mount Tabor Church Road. I made a complaint to the County Road Department Monday after the first Sunday. That's a safety hazard. When you come out of there, we coming from church, you have to pull out in the road. The bush is so high, side the road. If you in a car, you got to get out in the road before you can see down the road to see what's coming. When I eased out, I kept easing out. When I got out enough to look down the road, here was a guy come speeding. So I backed up. He stopped in front of me, and he put a cussing on me. He even threw a bottle. And I reported it. I went over to the road department, and I reported it. And I told them, the bushes coming up these roads, they so high. When you come out of there in cars, you can't see over them bushes to see down the road to see what's coming. And the lady told me that they had a crew that y'all contract to cut the road, and they didn't have an idea how they could just put. I said, ma'am, this is a safety hazard. I said, now the way that guy stopped and cursed me yesterday morning, which was that Sunday morning, and he threw a bottle, but it didn't hit my car. And, you know, I try to be a law-abiding citizen.
Yes, sir.
But this kind of stuff provoke you, and it causes problems. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend K. Moore. Again, being taken on that, and we will be discussing some additional items as it relates to how those right-of-ways are being dealt with in our 2 o'clock workshop there. But thank you for reporting it, and that's the only way we can get forward on it. Thank you so much. Ms. Davis, if you'll come. Ms. Davis. We have with us Ms. Susan Davis, who is with the Office of Communications and Intergovernmental Affairs, and she is the coordinator, who is also the successor to Craig McLean. And so we just wanted the commissioners to formally meet you, and wanted you to maybe introduce yourself to county staff as well as our citizens.
Hi, I'm Susan Davis, and I've been with the district for 16 years. So I just wanted to let you know I do have some experience in regulatory and projects, so if you have questions on those, I can be a liaison for that. And I thought something, you know, that I hear, you know, and other communities have this issue, you know, with the funding, and I heard, you know, with your resolution in small communities having funding issues and providing grants. So I just wanted to let you know that the district recently issued $25 million in cost share projects. And at our last governing board meeting, you know, we found that ready communities, small communities, don't get the same type of level playing field as the larger communities do in cost share funding. So we have a new application process that's currently actually right now, and so you might be interested in that if you do have projects that possibly didn't make the first cut, didn't make the first $25 million cut for water conservation, water quality, and springs protection. So I just want to let you know that possibly there is another avenue for cost share funding for this cycle, for this budget cycle.
Thank you, Mr. Davis. Our administrator is aware of that, and he shared with us. And so we're grateful that to know that you're here and that we have a specific you know, person that we can relate to. And I think Mr. Smith is familiar with that position as well. And so
we had a nice conversation before the meeting.
Great,
Okay.
great.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Good. So
Yes.
if I can be of help, please let me know.
Okay, thank you so much for being here. Okay, we're moving forward. Mr. Bly, were you attempting to say something?
Robert Bly, 116 Sand Lake Drive, Pomona Park, Florida. I just had a real quick, I wanted to let you all know that at the 2 o'clock meeting, I'll be there. I don't have pictures printed out. My printer isn't working right now, but I can show you pictures that I've accumulated. In District 1, none of the roads, the right-of-ways have been maintained along the roads, and like Mr. Kamore was saying, it's a safety issue. I took pictures with my car parked on the side of the road, and it was a fine Waldo picture where you look for the car in the grass, but you can't see it. The grass is actually over my head, and when I took pictures from in the grass on a 55-mile-an-hour road, 308B or 309, I forget which one, you know, the cars can't see me in the grass. Like Mr. Kamore said, it's a safety issue, and it really needs to be addressed as soon as possible.
It is being addressed, Mr. Bly. You can count on the fact that we are seeing what you're seeing, and some of what we're seeing does not tickle us. We're not looking with these issues that are there. It's wonderful for our citizens to bring things to our attention, but it's also wonderful that it is on our minds and on our radar, and it will be discussed here. We have some pictures that you with us. We're going to take access in a minute here, so we'll find out what's happening. But we will be discussing this further, and we will also be getting some answers as to what the rectification process is going to be on this. If you want to email from your smartphone to our offices those pictures, that'll be fine, but we'll be discussing that.
I also had another suggestion. Now, the road department doesn't allow a citizen to go out and cut along a road. In fact, you can be fined for that. So I would like to offer a suggestion that we temporarily look the other way.
No, sir. We're not interested in looking the other way on items that puts the county in liability there. So thank you for that idea there. I think that when people are cutting directly in front of their property there, and we do have citizens who are very proactive and progressive when it comes down to that. It's in front of their property, and for whatever reason, either our contractors or our public work crews have not rotated back around. Those citizens do that. But when it comes down to something that's not connected directly or contiguous to their property, then it does put us in a position when things go wrong. And so we can't predict or prophesy when things will go wrong, so we certainly don't want to engage in that. But thank you so much for your suggestion. We're going to take a 5-minute recess and deal with our technical issues, and so just stay tuned with us.
I don't know what's up with that. I don't understand that.
It has never worked.
Fine 1 week and the next week.
It hasn't worked from the first day we got it, did it, too? It's always been a problem.
Not that bad.
From our technological recess, I think we have, I think we're back in business. I think we covered all of our public comments. Okay, item 6, consent agenda. Commissioners, the consent agenda and citizens consist of A, list of committee minutes and recommendations distributed to become part of the record. B, list of correspondence distributed to become part of the record. C is general services, list of surplus inventory. D is administration, ship down payment assistance up to $25,100, Ricky and Cheryl Hippenhammer. E, administration ship down payment assistance up to $37,250, Katrina Young. F, administration ship emergency repair assistance up to $34,500, Laura Fontana Harrell. G, resolution 2015 MSBU rate resolution and certificate to non-ad valorem assessment role. H, emergency services, Motorola annual maintenance services agreement, $112,887.72. Public safety radio equipment at 6 county communication tower sites. I is appointment, St. John's Harbor, Unit 3, MSBU Committee, Herman Bud Engler. J, clerk to board, value adjustment, board attorney contract with John F. Sproul Jr. K, Public Works Addendum Number 5, Stone Engineering Group, $482,259, continuing services agreement for the Ocala National Forest Roads 62 and 29. Source of revenue is the Florida Department of Transportation. Are there any items, District 1, to pull from consent?
No, sir.
District 2?
None.
District 4?
Yes, sir. The public has asked D, E, and F, please.
Okay. B. District 5?
None.
District 3, none. Okay, entertain a motion to approve the consent agenda with
So
the
moved.
exception of D, E, and F.
Second.
Proper motion and a second. Further discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Okay, items D, E, and F is related to SHIP. Mr. Harvey, what is the concern?
Mr. Chairman, some of our citizens in the audience want to talk about the SHIP program, and I've gotten some clarification this morning about some of these, and I believe they've made some requests. Is that correct? Okay. So if you don't mind, Mr. Chairman, I think Mrs. Sparkman would like to come up and make some comments about that, and then we can answer her comments.
Okay. Okay, what would be nice if we had the SHIP administrator, the program administrator, to come and to talk about, are you speaking of the specific cases or the program?
Those 3 Pacific cases, I'm on the SHIP program board, and we had our meeting. We didn't even have a forum. District 5 wasn't representative, our attorney wasn't representative, neither was our county contractor. So in the past, all the years I've been on this board, when you had cases like what's in front of you right now, we either got an email or we got a phone call or a package sent, and we were able to vote. At the last meeting, none of these 3 were brought up. I didn't know about till I read the agenda. When they're going to buy a home, that's great, but we're all supposed to vote on that before it comes to you or Mr. Leary. I didn't know about till I read the agenda. And to me, I have a problem with it because 2 of those, the people cannot afford those payments. Because not only do they have to do that, they have to keep homeowners insurance per the SHIP program thing, and they have to pay their taxes. And on that one lady's income, there's no way she can pay it. I couldn't pay it. And so you need to do something making sure the people in the program show up. Because when you don't, and now that we have a new lady who took Mr. Esposito's seat, she didn't tell us nothing about this. And all she told us, we have 80 people on the waiting list. So why would you pick some people that maybe can't afford the payments and not help some of the other 80 people? So I have a major problem with this.
Mr. Chairman, if you don't mind. Ms. Sparkman, I've spoken to Lindsay Hagee with the SHIP program and Brian Teeple. Tabitha and I had a little conference call the other day, invited them down here to Putnam County, kind of hold office here, if you will, and get some of these there's a lot of applications that are still sitting out there too that need to be addressed. In some of these cases though today, and let me just kind of say, it's up to. So are we setting them up for failure? I hope not. But it's not about, they don't have to buy a $135,000 home. They could buy a lesser home, and the down payment assistance would be a lot less based on that. I have a concern too, but again, it's up to that amount. It's not that amount set in stone.
And I know that we have Pam Bomney money that we have to spend before the 7th. I understand that. But usually when it comes to buying a home, we're contacted to vote. And on these 3, we were not. So it comes back to the minute that your administrator puts you on an agenda and you approve it, it's done. So what happens in a couple of years when some of these that are on this come back and now we have it back? I mean, there's something wrong if we're not able to vote on it and read all the paperwork in a meeting or sent to us in a packet like we did before for all the other years. I don't understand what's happened.
Okay, so if we have an issue with the SHIP committee, then we need to address that issue separate from the issue of dealing with these specific cases. And so we can do the follow-up so that we can drill down and find out precisely what's happening and what's not happening. And I think that's basically what you're saying.
I want everybody to be able to get a home, don't get me wrong, but first off, on what was approved by the state is we have to have the handicapped people first. First, their top priority. Okay, but then when I see people that maybe, and I know myself living on Social Security, there's no way I could afford those payments on those homes. There's no way.
Well, we're expecting for administratively to be in compliance, and we also, again, we have that board there so that there can be proper vetting of the applicants. And our role is not to rubber stamp it, but our role is to make sure that it gets the final review, not from a micromanaging perspective, but just, again, for check and balance there. And so we're not the ones who are interviewing the candidates there. That has to happen through the process, but we will certainly make note of what you're telling us and
I
do the
just wanted to
follow-through.
bring it to your attention
Thank
before
you.
you approve it. There needs to be some background work done, or let us know. If you don't want us to vote on this stuff on the board before it comes to you, then I guess we don't need the board. I don't know.
No, we need the board.
Yeah.
We do. Thank you.
Thank you very kindly. Entertain a motion to approve items D
So
and F
moved.
on the consent agenda. Proper motion.
Second.
Second. Further discussion. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign. Hearing none. Motion carries. Mr. Leary.
I have nothing beyond these appointments that are listed.
Commissioners, are there any appointments?
I have none.
I'm working on one for the zoning board of adjustment, the at-large position there, but I don't have it confirmed yet.
Okay.
I'm also working on the affordable housing. I got some names from the chamber.
Okay, and I have
Applications.
Commissioner Liber working on the Better Place Plan Oversight Committee District 2.
I am.
Yes, sir.
I'm
Yes, sir.
sitting here
All right, so we have them covered. If you would, Ms. Lassiter, just put in parentheses the name of the commissioners that are working so that we're not overlapping each other in those particular three, and then we will anticipate. Our county attorney is with us, and he's taken note of all that we're doing today, and is recuperating well from his procedure there. So we have not done anything today that he's not either blessed or he will bless us later. But thanks,
bless
Mr.
us?
Castleberry. Thank you so much for what you're doing. Okay, our efficient, honorable clerk of court. Happy birthday, Tim Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I can't imagine a place I'd rather spend it with than all of you. I really mean that,
Yes, sir.
as you do the work of the county, and I'm thankful to be part of it and have this honor to celebrate another birthday.
Yes, sir.
So, and I have no other items. Thank you, sir.
Well, we don't want you to imagine being without us and us without you. Thank you very kindly. Okay, Commissioner comments, District 5.
Happy 39th. And tomorrow I will be in Nassau County completing my last Regional Leadership Academy class and preparing for graduation there and putting that behind me. Very learning experience. We've traveled throughout the 7 counties in our district and learned a little bit about how they operate and hopefully bringing some of that wisdom back here to help us. But that's it for District 5.
All right, District 4.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. Last week, the 4 county commissioners from Alachua, Putnam, Bradford, and Clay County met out at the Watson Center in Clay County for the regional transportation meeting that we had for transportation disadvantage. Our Mr. Boyd was there, Boyd Thompson, and all the representatives from all the different mass transit systems or rural transit, and start working on some type of a collaboration together. And that's very exciting, and it was a great meeting, and just wanted to inform you that we did do that, and we're moving that process forward. Tomorrow I head to St. Petersburg for the Florida Association of Counties Rural Caucus Committee that I'm on. I'm a co-chair of the Rural Caucus Committee, and as I said before, transportation disadvantage is one of our high priorities this year. So look forward to good things coming out of that this coming week.
Okay. Anything on the DEP meeting for the Rodman Drawdown this evening?
Yes, tonight is the DEP meeting on drawdown. It's the second meeting that they've had. The first one was at the Locks last month. Mr. Harrell will be there tonight, actually filming that for Save Rodman Reservoir. It's going to be a great meeting. I would encourage all of our citizens to come out and listen to DEP. They don't take a stance on one way or the other, but I think when you hear it, you'll hear how beneficial the reservoir is to this area, or Lake Ocklawaha, if you will. Thank you.
District 1.
Mr. Chair, I had a conversation with our tax collector, Linda Myers, and they're expanding their services beginning with District 1, where they're going to issue birth certificates
So you can go into the branch office and obtain one. And it's becoming more and more critical in the community to have one. If you're going to renew your driver's license, if you're going to apply for food stamps, just about everything, a Florida ID, you've got to have it. So it's really nice to bring that service to the people. And today and tomorrow, they're working on opening that up and starting it for the citizens. And I'm real pleased that that's there. And she intends to spread it out, but she's starting with District 1, and I'm happy to report that. And the people really need it. And I'm glad to report that.
Super. Thank you so very much. District 2.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I will be in Jacksonville, Florida tomorrow at Regional Transportation Commission, and we'll be working on transportation disadvantage, hopefully to become the coordinating and funding entity for that. We do have a shortage, but if we're successful at this, somebody in rural Putnam County will be able to go to the doctor's offices in all the surrounding counties and shopping and any other amenity they might be able to tap into. Because every one of our counties has a transportation system, but we all operate independently. So we're trying to coordinate those together because of the shortages. And we met with Boyd Thompson last week, and we have a future meeting with him. But I think that this is the time right before great things happen. I really do. I know it's falling apart. You two have worked so hard on it, but if we're successful at this level that we're working at tomorrow, hopefully all 6 counties in Northeast Florida will come together with a model transportation system for the rest of the state. It could be really something. And today is not, Mr. Smith doesn't have the only celebration. I've been married to a patient woman for 31 years today.
Happy anniversary.
No wonder the
I have a special luncheon today. Thank you.
wonder.
Reason for this jacket.
No wonder the neon.
I wanted to be bright and cheerful for my bride.
By all means, congratulations to you and your family.
Thank you.
I want to express my thanks to this board for your help with transportation disadvantaged. Walton took it to the Regional Planning Council, and you and Walton took it to the Small County Coalition, Mr. Chairman. Larry's been working out on the West End, and now Chip may be the one that's going to save us all.
I hope.
But it takes everybody.
That's right.
And thank you all so much. That's so important to our county.
Yes, and thank you for the acknowledgement. Again, some wonder why we're glad to see each other. In all due respect to Sunshine, we don't get a chance to talk to each other until we're here. So it's almost like a kid on Christmas morning. The enthusiasm, of being able to talk with each other is good. I do want to say to us in a very positive and optimistic way is that things that are happening in our municipalities, we have 5 municipalities within our county, things that's happening in the adjoining areas there. While we are tempted to engage into their business affairs, let's remember that we as public officials don't have private comments anymore. Once we become an elected official, our comments are not considered private, and we need to just be mindful of anything that we say that could cause them to be insulted or offended through comments, just as we oftentimes are hit with things because people don't have the rest of the story. They feel the same way. And so when there are issues that need to be sorted through, I encourage all of us to take it through and to our administrator so that he can sort through it and we can have a proper response. I mean, we have challenges that we're dealing with other agencies within our community now. We have interlocal agreements with the various agencies, whether it's the Housing Authority or whether it's Palatka, Larkin, Crescent City, Willaca, Pomona Park. There, and I've discovered that we can accomplish so much more working together than we can getting misinformation or no information out there. Then all of a sudden relationships are strained unnecessarily and the victims are our citizens. So I want to just make sure that we are proactive when it comes down to that, and we've done, I feel, a remarkable job. There are times that we're tempted to jump into something that is beyond our scope. But let's just be self-disciplined and mindful of what we ought do and what we ought not do. The new school relocation that's on South Palm Avenue, I'm sure Captain Wells and his department is on point there, but I want to make sure that Public Works and our safety teams there, I don't think there are any flashing lights there, but there is a problem with traffic at the beginning of the school and the end of the school. It's the traffic is moving very fast, and then the people who are having to pull out from Kennedy to get on the roadway there are really in a struggle there, and I'm sure that lights maybe are being ordered to make sure that that's known now as a school zone, but it's heavy population there with the healthcare center being there, with First Coast Credit Union being there, and so that population is really increased, and more attention is going to have to be given to that area rather than just Palm and St. John's and Palm and Creel, so that we can not have any attention drawn to that area. Any further business to come before the board?
One little short final comment. I need to see Captain Wells after this is over. My closet has obviously been robbed, and I'm missing one sport coat. I want to put that on the record.
Okay. All right, so do he need backup?
Eat your heart out.
Do he need any backup?
Wait, Mr. Chairman, there's one in my truck, but I don't think he's referring to the orange one.
Well, until we...
It's on loaner.
That's on loan. Okay, I was hoping I wasn't.
All right, well, if it's probable cause, then we don't want any further comments in this particular meeting.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I did forget one thing. Last week, we had the pre-bid meeting for the CB Club out in Larkin, the new community center out there that Mr. Leary's been really working hard, and Miss Angie. And there was quite a few people that showed up to bid on redoing that, renovate that building for the use of the people in West Putnam. So just a good thing there that people showed up and had a real feel to start moving that forward. So
Yes,
thank
sir.
you. Thank you.
And I'm sure those who have traveled south on 17 is noticing the landscape change there. It's mega changes that's happening there, and there are many who still don't understand the significance of that project. And so let's do our best to help spread the word as to how long that has been in progress. And while it is an inconvenience to many, we know that it will certainly be a part of the necessary infrastructure for transportation purposes that we need in our county so that we can be progressive economically and otherwise. Members, let me remind you of the convening of the Transportation Committee at 2:00 p.m. This afternoon. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Have a blessed morning.